Hi everyone, this is Hillary Mansfield. You may know me as Hill Jane from YouTube or Countess Cherie from webcamming. I just wanted to make an announcement that this Sunday night on Instagram, live on Instagram, I will be doing a live feed with my friend Cyan, and in that live feed, I feel the time is right, I feel it's important, I feel it's necessary, and I'm going to come clean with some things that happened to me while I lived in North Carolina. Sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes the truth isn't pretty. Sometimes we're ashamed of the truth. But in the end, the truth will set you free. Please join me Sunday night as I bear all on Instagram. And I hope you will join me as I get the most personal I've ever been in my life. See you then. Hi, everybody. It's got the same. Hello, everyone. Oh, my heavens. How about I call you and we do it by phone? How about that? I'm going to call you right now.
Yeah, hello?
Mr. Grayson,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I hope that this isn't too problematic. I hope that they can hear us because, let me just say, I hate Facebook. I hate Facebook with a passion. I try not to use it. It's just not my thing. But what is my thing is the Bible, the Courtship of Eboni Law by MJ Grayson. And I'm happy to say that I'm here on live on Facebook. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, as is the case with Facebook. That's why I can't stand Facebook. But I wanted to interview and get the word out for Mr. MJ Grayson's book, The Courtship of Eboni Law, which I have read. And if you don't believe me, look, the spine is broken. Ha ha. I can read. It's not just all about glamour and, doing my red lips. But I'm very happy to have Mr. MJ Grayson join me. How's it going, Mr. Grayson? Thank you so much for joining us. I've said before that this is a great book for those Friday nights alone. So how appropriate that we do it very late on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's very appropriate.
So tell me a little bit. I enjoyed the book. Like I said, it's I want to stress to people, it's not erotica, but it's a little bit of a tease. Tell me a little bit about the book and about your inspiration.
Well, the book explores sort of like age gap relationships, which is something that's becoming more and more common in our society. It's a older woman, younger man romance involving the martial arts. My inspiration for the book is I have a background in martial arts and a background in martial arts and Muay Thai fighting and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a little bit of Judo and a few other disciplines. And the book itself was inspired through a relationship I had with a woman that I once took the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class with.
And I have to say, obviously the book appeals to me because I, call myself a cougar. I patent the phrase, the tranny cougar. That's me. And I'm very proud of that. So obviously, that's what spoke to me. And as I've told you before, I really, really love the male character in the book, of course.
Yeah.
Where was the inspiration for that particular character? Because I found him very compelling. And also, the older woman, the May December romance, I don't know if it's the May December romance, really isn't that, I never really thought, that the age gap was that intense. What I did think was intense was the, shall we say, some of the, I have to be really careful with my wording now, because, I'm a YouTube partner. So the same sex between women, tell me about your inspiration for that, and tell me about where that came from, and your inspiration for Eboni, and then we want to talk about the models on the book. But
okay, the inspiration for Eboni came from a long, sort of like a woman that was kind of like a long lost love.
Oh.
And a woman I used to be with many years ago.
Okay, hold on a minute. And I'm going to check and make sure that I'm going to turn the speaker on so they can hear you. I don't know if they can hear you. Hold on just a moment.
All right.
Power on. Red light. Bluetooth pairing mode. Your speaker is ready to pair. Connected successfully.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So you were saying about your inspiration for Eboni and everything, and the...
Well, the inspiration for Eboni, in particular, came from a relationship I was in when I was younger. There was a young lady that I took college courses with, that I was in a relationship with, and I lost her prematurely before we were able to get married. She was struck by a vehicle.
I'm sorry.
So, in particular, that's where the inspiration, that's part of the inspiration. The other part of the inspiration was another woman that I took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes with when I lived in New York City, that I was in a relationship with for a few years,
So, how's the book doing? I had prematurely said that the book was available at Barnes & Noble and Borders and everything, but you quickly got in touch with me and told me that, to your knowledge, that it was just available on Amazon and online places. Let's go ahead and give a plug for where the book is where we're able to get it at.
For online retailers that I know of right now, booksamillion.com, barnesandnobles.com, amazon.com, and goodreads.com.
I want to definitely tell everyone that this is it's a quick read. It's it's about 220 pages. It's a fun read. It's kind of a quick read, and I have to say, Mr. Grayson goes into great detail about each character, which I personally really like. You feel that you kind of know them. What is it about? What made you? A lot of times when we're learning about characters' past or whatever, I find it kind of boring. But you give great descriptions of these characters.
Well, it's important that when you're writing fiction, I don't know if every writer or author who writes fiction, you got to give profound description to the character, to the physical and aspect, as well as the emotional balance of each character. So, Lorenzo, the main male character in the book, he was very muscular, very chiseled, very tall.
Yes.
But he was, what you would say, kind of kind-hearted, but he wasn't no punk. He stood up to if you notice in the book, he stood up to his dad.
And he was married.
He just went for what he believed in the book, and he wasn't going to be deterred by no one.
So this is your second book. Tell me about the first one.
The first one was a urban fiction book that was set many years ago. I wrote under a different name at that time. It was Young Assassin. That was the name of the book, Young Assassin by Mike G. I didn't choose that name for myself, but my former publisher did. So it was more like a very violent, detailed description of inner city life that took place in Washington, D.C. in the late 80s and early 90s.
Well,
So that was my first book.
okay. And I really like it, and I just want to tell all the viewers and tell everyone, The Courtship of Eboni Law, great read, a hint, a tease, not really erotica, but it is an urban book, and it is available at a reasonable price on Amazon. I've seen it there. I love the inscription that was made to me. Thank you, Mr. Grayson, for joining me this late night. I appreciate it. Everyone check out The Courtship of Eboni Law by MJ Grayson. I personally recommend it, and it's a great summer read. Now, as we're going from summer to fall, I will say this is a great early fall read. And again, when you're alone, feeling lonely, there's a character for everyone, I promise you. Whatever you're into, the character's in here. Thank you, Mr. Grayson. I appreciate you joining me, and you have a great night.
All right. Before we go, Hillary, I just want to make mention that I have been writing a script or screenplay based on that novel. And there's also a sequel.
Hold up. So you're writing a screenplay. Any characters in mind for your just any actors in mind that you kind of have because I know who I would like to see. I would say not just because of the picture, but if it was the 80s, what was her name? Ray Don Chong. But obviously she's past that, but I can see that character. And today I would say someone like what's the guy's name? Oh my goodness. Not Michael B. Jordan. Not Michael B. Jordan, but his name's Michael something. Anyway, Michael Ealy for the martial arts.
You talk about Michael Jai White?
No, Michael Ealy. Google him.
Oh, okay.
Who did you have in mind? Who would you have in mind?
Okay. Probably Michael Jai White, and who's the guy has like 9 black belts in 9 different disciplines. A real expert martial artist and actor. He's been in a few Tyler Perry movies and a few independent films. He's a phenomenal actor and a great martial artist. So I would have him in mind as Lorenzo. As far as Ebony, I'm not really too sure, but if I had to pick anyone, maybe Janet Jackson.
Or maybe, why not go for broke? Halle Berry. Just saying.
I mean, Halle Berry would make a good, she would probably be a good actress for that role, too.
Yeah, I see it. Though, actually, I don't see Ebony really in that age range. I see her like, I don't know, early 30s, mid-30s. I know what you wrote, but that's how I see her. That's how I picture her in my mind. But thank you so much, Mr. Grayson. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Hillary.
Well, go ahead and say what you were going to say. Go ahead and finish.
No, I was just going to mention that Ebony, if you notice in the book, she looked very young. She appeared very young in the book, but her age was far more exceeding than how she actually looked in the book because of a certain health problem in the story. She was forced to. She was kind of like forced to.
You know who else would have been good
to take care of her health? So that's why she looked so young.
You know who else would have been good back in the day would be Jasmine Guy. That just came to mind because she has something similar. She didn't age for many, 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 many years. She was older than everyone on a different world, and all of a sudden, if you see her now, gravity definitely caught up. But anyway, we could do this all night, talk about TV shows.
There was just one more thing I wanted to mention based on something you asked me. You was asking me about the female same-sex relationships in the story. That was just something that just, you look at our society and you just, it was just something that was just there. That was what the story was. I didn't mean to write it like that, but that's how it sort of came out.
You know what? It's real life, and that's another thing about it. I really like it's real life. So
Yeah, it's definitely real life.
like I said, there's something for everyone. You know, I love the cougar relationship. That's me. Obviously, I relate with that. I love the male character. I know who I pictured in my mind for that role or that part. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Grayson. I know it's getting late. You have a great night. Thank you for joining me, and we will get this on YouTube soon. The Courtship of Eboni Law by MJ Grayson. Check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Hillary.
Thank you.